If you could live green, would you? I'm Nick Federoff, host of Things Green, where we introduce nuggets of green lifestyle from gardening, upcycling, answering your questions, sustainability, even discussing environmental issues. You can become more confident in making the right decisions for you and your family. So come along as we are Things Green. Okay, get to tend to our garden here today, and we have some tomatoes that are growing, and we have to make sure that our growth, as it's starting to blossom out over here, make sure that it's inside of the cage. Oh, look at this one, see? It's outside of the cage right here. Not good. So we're gonna take it and we're just gonna bring it back real easy. Now, you have to be super careful. These branches are very delicate. They will break on you. Now, if they do, I don't want you to cry and think that there's nothing you can do about it. Well, actually, there is nothing you can do about it. Just get a pair of pruners, cut it off, and then watch the plant grow. And just be careful in the future. You will break some branches as you're going. What's really cool about tomato cages is that these things are V-shape, and it's gonna get bushier as it goes along. You will need to take and push these things in as it goes along, and then before you know it, it's going to just spill over the top, and that's okay. But for me over here, because we have a raised planter bed, it's really kind of cool because I'll be able to pick as we need to pick. All right, tell you what, these right here are just absolutely gorgeous. These are volunteers. We haven't had to plant tomatoes in this for, oh boy, probably 3-4 years already. So we're just gonna let the volunteers go. We didn't even replant these, we just left them right where they were. Here, however, we decided we're gonna take and do some planting. I have a 4-inch size container. It's 4 inches by 4 inches and probably 4 inches this way as well. These right here are called 6-packs because you have, look at the bottom here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you have 6 of them. That's there. We have 2 different styles and varieties of these. You could tell that these right here, my left, your right, these are patio tomatoes, which means that these plants are gonna get very big. They only get maybe about 2.5, 3 feet tall. So you're growing these a little bit differently to what we're not talking about today. These, however, are a different variety. They're gonna get nice and big, as is this one right here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna remove this. Well, actually, let's do this instead. One of the really neat things about tomatoes is that these are one of the very few plants that can generate and grow roots along the stem of the plant right here. It's one of the very few that is able to do that. So what we're gonna do is something that's actually kind of interesting. We're gonna take and we are going to prune all of these leaves off. Okay, we're just gonna prune them just like this. Take them right off. See how they're coming off? And we're only gonna leave a couple of them right up here. Isn't that kind of cool? Now, we use all the same gardening practices as we normally do, where we're gonna dig our hole. Now, I've gone through here already and I've cultivated everything, added soil amendments and things like that. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna dig our hole. So let's just kind of move some soil out. We only need a 4-inch hole. It's not gonna be very big. Or are we? Wait a minute, we are. We're gonna go further down. Look at this. You're gonna think I'm gonna kill the plant right now, but I'm not. So I got a pretty big hole. It's about six inches now. And there's a reason why I can do this. As I mentioned, this will actually generate roots all the way up and down here. Very few plants will ever do that. Just don't do this to any kind of plant, but you can with these. If you read any kind of book, and most books are written on the east of the Mississippi, they will tell you to plant this thing and then bend it up inside once it's in here. You can't do that. That is the most wrong thing to do as you could ever imagine, because remember what I said about these right here? These branches are very brittle and it's gonna reflect it. It will break. So don't do that. Instead, use this technique and it's going to be so much better. Look at these roots of these things. Oh, they're so pretty. They're nice and tan to white looking. Oh, I love that. So what we're going to do is drop this in the hole, and it's going to go way down deep, just like this. I think that's deep enough. I'm okay with that. In fact, you know what I want to do? I want to move it over just a little bit. Don't you wish your soil was this nice? You could do it. You just have to keep on fortifying it. Okay, so we're going to drop it down right here. And you're going to see the reason why I moved it closer in a second. Okay, now what we're going to do is just going to backfill it. Okay, see how we're backfilling it? And don't do this to every plant. Tomatoes, you can do it. You don't really have to do anything like that to the patio ones. They don't need it. You can just plant them just straight out. If you wanted to, you could. It's not going to hurt them. And then we're just going to pack this down a little bit like this. And we're going to say, voila, we're done. We're not done. We got a couple more things we're going to do here. Just make it nice and pretty. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cage up right away. And the reason why you want to put it right away is because you're going to go like this. You're going to blink, and this thing's going to be 3 feet tall, and it's going to be almost impossible to put a cage around it. So you just take your cage. In this case, we have this one right here, and we're going to put it right in the center, just like this. Now, this thing is going to grow like you can't imagine. Just like their relatives next door, it's going to come up here and here and here, and it's just going to be a beautiful thing. So make sure you stay on top of this because you don't want the plants to dying off on you. Keep the soil moist, not wet. Fertilize it every so often. Use just a real good, nice, organic liquid fertilizer, something that's food safe. That would be really good. And like I said, before you know it, you're going to have yourself tomatoes coming out over here and not going to end up knowing what to do with them. They're just a beautiful thing. Okay, you're probably going to think I'm crazy about this, and I might be just a little bit. But what I've decided to do here is I'm going to transplant this tomato. I don't want it here. I don't want it here. And the reason being is because I was consulting with our on-staff gardener over here, and she tells me that these were the cherry tomatoes that we've been having. And even though they were nice tomatoes, there's a lot of tomatoes and all that, we just really haven't been eating them all. So instead, we're going to keep whatever flavor this one is. Don't know because none of this is labeled, but we're going to take and we're going to pull this out, and if I could salvage it, we'll take it and we'll give it to somebody and they could take and plant it. So let me see how much of the root ball I can get on this. Oh, so yeah, that's good. Because I have really good soil, I can do this. Check this out. Okay, got a lot of roots that are down here. I'm tearing the roots. Check this out. Oh, you're probably crying, aren't you? Look at these roots. Look how beautiful those are. Just absolutely gorgeous. So what we'll do is we'll get a 5-gallon size container over here right now, and we will transfer it in there. But before I do that, we can actually plant something else in here. So I'm going to bring all this soil back in here, and I'm going to just borrow some from here. Boy, you could just smell how cool this is. So what we'll do is we'll get our plant planted here in a second. Okay, so I have some other tomatoes over here, and we've got ourselves, let's see, what are these? Let's see what these are. I don't even know what they are. These are what they call Hawaiian Tropic. So Hawaiian Tropic, I don't know what variety that is. It's probably kind of like a yellowish one. And well, we'll find out now, won't we? So we're just going to take and this is how we pop these out, by the way. You just take the bottom like this and you just push it from the bottom, and then you have to ease them out from the over here. And if it doesn't come out straight way, don't worry about it. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to remove these lower leaves because this gets roots on there, and we're going to plant this. plant it in the ground like this. And within, well, I'd probably say 3 weeks, it'll be as big as this one right over here. That's how big it's going to be. And then now what we do is we take our cage and put it back, and then it will grow. It will grow in here, and it'll be beautiful, I tell you. All right. Okay, now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get our 5-gallon bucket over here. Where's our 5-gallon bucket? There, here we go. Boom! Okay, so I have some soil over there. So I'll tell you what, you look at the plant and I'll get some soil. How does that sound? So what we're going to do is we're going to get some soil. We'll get some soil here in my bucket, and then we will just replant this thing up, that's all. So this is a little bit of a different soil mix I had before. Not much though. We'll go like this. And we're going to carefully get this as much as we can and put it in there securely. And then I'm going to get some soil, put it around. I have plenty of soil in this whole thing. And then I'll get a
Today we're going to be planting seeds. First we need Ziploc bags. Next we need cutting boards. Then we need seeds. And I'll show you something. This seed is one of my favorites and it's so cool. I love it. And we're going to need water. And then what we're going to do, first open up the Ziploc bag, and you look super bright. I love you, Mr. Nick. First we're going to grab a cotton ball and dip it in the water, and then don't squeeze it, and then put it in the bag, and it's dripping all over the place. Yeah, that's the hard part. I'm so excited. My turn. My turn. Dip it in the water, gunky gunk gunk. And then put it in my bag. No one knows the fun. 2 down, 3 down, 0 to go. 3 down, 0 to 2 down, 1 more to go. Done, good. Make sure it soaks nice. And then don't squeeze it. And I accidentally squeezed it on accident. And then put it in. Shake. Okay. It looks like a snowman if you point it this way. Now we got the 3 cotton balls in. It's time to add the beans, the lima beans. One on each cotton ball. My turn. This is how we'll do it now. This is how we'll do it. Put one of the beans there. This. And this one, it looks like a piece of corn. This one's a piece of corn, it looks like. And then I'm going to put it right here. Now we got to tape it up against the window. gonna wait and see.
This is a potato. That doesn't look very good from this particular perspective, and the reason for that is because we're ready to harvest this plant. Now, a potato is ready to harvest usually 2 to 3 weeks after it flowers. Sometimes you could wait a little bit longer, and then you could also wait until it starts getting really tired or even dying off. Now, typically speaking, potatoes can grow into a lot of really horrible soil-like conditions, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it can also grow in some really wonderful soil conditions as well. And my particular garden right here has uber awesome soil, so we're gonna be really good with this. And normally when you're gonna harvest this stuff, you're gonna wanna use a shovel and a pitchfork, and you're gonna grab it and you're gonna see whatever's down there, and stuff is just gonna be oozing because you skewered it. But hopefully we won't do that because I'm gonna wear gloves, and I did trim my fingernails, so we're not doing any kind of shish kebabbing to these potatoes. Of course, potatoes can be eaten in a menagerie of different ways. They can be eaten as mashed potatoes. You can fry them for hash browns. You could also fry them for French fries. Yeah, but when you start doing that frying thing, they're not very good for you. There's a lot of starches and carbohydrates inside of potatoes. And when you grow them, it's pretty simple. As a matter of fact, I have a little bit of a confession, and that confession is this. A long time ago, I was going to do a little segment for us about potatoes. And I kind of forgot. And I left the potatoes up in the studio. And what happened was that they started to grow. So I figured, you know what? Let's plant them. So I just took one potato and I planted it right here. And this is the effects of the potato and the leaves and all that. And it's starting to die off, so I know there's gotta be something that's inside of here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just kind of pull these plants out a little bit, and we'll see if there's any. Hey, look at that, look how cute that is. We got a little itty bitty potato on there. Okay, so you don't think that these are ready, but they are. They're ready to go because it's been well more than 3 weeks since the flowers have died off on this. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna start pulling real easy here and see what happens. And so, oh, sorry, now this potato, look at that. It's just all in pieces. So, what are you gonna do there, right? All right, so we have this one, and sometimes they come out with your potatoes real easy. Sometimes they don't. Look at that. See the potato that's right there? Is that too cute or what? Okay, now we're gonna do this. I tell you, Mrs. Things Green's gonna love this. Okay, so are these the only potatoes in there? No. We're gonna do some digging. And this digging is gonna be just like this. We're gonna come in here and we're gonna start moving soil away and see. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at these potatoes. Is this exciting? Oh, look at this monster right here. Oh, it's huge. Look at this. That's ginormous. Look at all these potatoes from this one potato that came up. All right, so that's one of the things you have to remember about potatoes is that they are just prolific plants. Okay, so those little itty bitty ones, those are nothing but teaser potatoes. These over here are the ones that you want. Now, can you imagine? Look at this. This is just so great. So out of this plant right here, let's pull these out. Man, oh man. And I just feel stuff going on in here. Sometimes these potatoes can go down a couple of feet, actually. Let's see, let's put this to the side a little bit because I see a lot of more activity happening here. All right, so far we've got a good 6 inches that they've grown down to. And I don't want to miss any potatoes. Man, am I going to eat good tonight or what? Now here's part of my little problem over here. I have all kinds of seeds that are planted here and I'm kind of burying them. Okay, so let's go over here more. And you see how nice this is when your soil just cooperates with you? I don't think there's going to be many more here, but we're going to dig down a little deeper just to find out. Okay, I'm squishing the soil as I'm going along. And I'm going in this direction. Let's see if there's any potatoes over here. No, that's about it. I don't know about you, but I am just jazzed up about this haul that I got here. And that was just from one potato that I picked up. It was going to be at the store. And here we are. We have all these little itty bitty ones. And potatoes are the kind of thing to where you typically do not eat these things cold. You typically don't eat them cold. You normally take and you cook them. Maybe just in potato salads. I mean, that's one way that you would eat your potatoes. But otherwise, we're not going to do that. These little ones are just too cute. Love those things. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's cut one of these in half and take a look at it. Which one do you want to cut in half? All right, studio audience. Like this one? It's a nice size. Okay, so everybody in the studio audience loves that. So let's take and let's cut this potato just to see what it looks like. Clean it off a little bit. Now potatoes, I don't know if you knew this or not, but you're not supposed to keep them out in natural light. And what happens is that potatoes, you ever see a green potato? That stuff right there is actually it's a reaction that they get from the light, and it turns into a kind of like a poison. So you always want to wash your potato off very, very well, whether you just pick them out of the ground like this, or you get them from the store, wherever the case may be. Okay, here we go. We're going to take this thing. Beautiful. Let's see what happens. I'm so excited. Oh, yes. Look at that. Look at the color. Look how nice this is. Look at the way that the shape is. This is almost like a kidney bean of sorts. Has a nice thin coating on there, which, by the way, is really kind of interesting. Sometimes when you're talking about your potatoes and you start digging them up like this, when you have a whole bunch of potatoes, when you start digging them up like this and you want to test them first, and you scrape the outside of the potato and the skin is really too thin and it comes off super easy, you don't want to pick the plants. Just let them sit around just for a little bit longer, and then you can come back and do that. You want that skin to be just a little bit on the thicker side. So, and the other thing is this: when you pick potatoes, there are potatoes that are designed specifically. We actually call them potato seeds, and potato seeds are kind of like belly buttons. You know, you have an innie and an outie. Well, when you have outie eyes on the potatoes, you can actually see they're kind of growing in the opposite direction. Those are the ones that are your seeds. The ones that are the innies, those eyes that are innies, those are the ones that you don't want to plant, and you probably won't have much success. So with that, that's what you can do with the potato.